Welcome to the Physician Associate Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Physician Associate Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined today by Jo Piper, who is the Programme Manager for the Kent, Surrey and Sussex School of Physician Associates. Welcome to the podcast, Jo.
Thank you for inviting me to speak about the school today.
Would you start by taking us back in time a bit to the beginnings of the PA profession in the Kent, Surrey and Sussex area?
Yes, so back in 2015, we had a very small number of PAs working within the region, about 10, and they were working almost exclusively at Surrey and Sussex Healthcare Trust, East Surrey Hospital in Redhill. Health Education England were keen to expand the profession, to help meet workforce needs within the region, and so provided some funding to set up the Kent, Surrey and Sussex School of Physician Associates, which at the time they based at East Surrey Hospital, because really that was where the knowledge, the experience, the understanding of the profession was.
Excellent. So Health Education England were coming on board to try and help expand PAs in the local area. How did that lead on to the development of the school?
So we were provided with a small pot of money to start up the school, initially just for 1 year. We started by helping the 3 universities in the region, which was Canterbury Christ Church University, Surrey University and Brighton and Sussex Medical School, helping the 3 of them initially to develop their programmes, because none of the universities had a PA programme at the time. So we helped with curriculum development, help finding placements, help finding staff as well, actually, initially, to really help them get on their feet in order to get a programme up and running.
So it's really a matter of starting from scratch.
Absolutely. Yes, completely. And personally, very much so, because I'd come from not even a healthcare background. So I used to work as a project manager in finance, in IT. Quite a change for me.
What a trial by fire into the NHS.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Who did you need to bring in to the school to help? Who's played a key part?
So really, Dr. Natalie King, who's a geriatrician and a leading consultant in Surrey and Sussex Healthcare Trust. And she's been absolutely instrumental. I'm sure many people who know about the PA profession know about Dr. King and her work and how influential she's been. She is a real force and a driver for us. And also we've always had a lead PA in the school, so someone that can advise really from the heart of the profession. We started with a PA called Rachel, and now Michelle Chapman is our lead PA for the school. Most people will know Michelle is also the Vice President of the Faculty of Physician Associates. So we feel very honoured to have her working with us to really guide what we do.
That's great. And I think the lead PA role will be of interest to lots of physician associates who are listening to this as well.
Yes, I'm sure it will. Well, for the school, I suppose it's a slightly different role than it would be in a trust. So for the school, the lead PA role is really to look at the detail, I suppose, of some of the things that we do to make sure it is relevant to the profession. Michelle also has an ambassador function. Again, I'm sure your listeners will be aware of the PA ambassador role that's been rolled out nationally. So Michelle has that role as well, which she utilises sort of within the school. She really talks to all of the trusts within our region, trying to promote the role, creating employment opportunities for PAs in the region, and also dealing with some of the sort of more governance type issues that trusts will have with these, new roles coming in. A lead PA for a trust would be more about supporting the PAs within that particular trust, perhaps being the line manager for them, doing appraisals and that sort of thing, and representing PAs for a particular trust, whereas our lead PA for the school has a slightly different focus.
The KSS School of PAs is, to my knowledge, the first in the country. What are some of the highlights that you've been able to do in the recent years as part of the school? Is there any work that you're particularly proud of?
Yes, I think overall, I think that the numbers speak for themselves. As I say, we now have 150 PAs working in the region, and 50 of those are in general practice as well. 11 out of our 15 trusts in the region employ PAs, and they're employed across the whole sort of spectrum of specialties. So from obs and gynae to peds surgery, and the more normal ones in ED and elderly care, etc. But I think it's quite an achievement that they're not just based in one or two specialties. We do have that full spectrum. So some of our work has been and continues to be directly for the students in our region at those three universities. So we meet and greet them when they first join their programmes. So we used to go on a big road trip around the region and meet all of the students and introduce the school, introduce the faculty of PAs, talk a bit about professionalism and that sort of thing. We also run ward round training. For many of these students, this will be the first time that they may never have been in a hospital before, only, perhaps to visit someone in hospital, not as a worker as such. So this will introduce them to some of the elements of a ward, some of the physical elements of the ward, and also what to expect from a ward round, how to scribe, what sort of things to write, etc. That has excellent feedback every year that we run it. We're now coming up to our third year of running a mock OSCE every year. So once the students have graduated and they're just about to take their national exam, then we're going to give them an opportunity to come and have a mock OSCE, which obviously last year was run under, quite strict restrictions with COVID, and really is giving them an extra taster, in a place that they're not familiar with, unlike their university where they'll have done some kind of OSCEs during their course. We'd like to bring them somewhere where they haven't been before, with examiners that they haven't met before, they haven't seen before. Try and give them an experience that's far more like the OSCE that they will be experiencing when they do their nationals. So that's a couple of things that we do for the student. For our qualified PAs, the big thing that we started this year was to have a regular teaching programme, which is 1 hour every week, to support their clinical practice, but also to give them a chance to network with their peers across the region, so that they get a feeling of a sort of community of practice, and to help with their RETA certification. One of the other things that we've been doing is running supervisor training. So really trying to get to the people that are supervising the physician associates in secondary care and explain to them what PAs are, how they differ really from doctors that they would be supervising. And again, that's gone down very well, and we'll be running that 3 times a year from now on.
Wow. The PAs in your patch sound really lucky to have this school set up to support them.
Yes, I think so. And I think they feel it, actually. We do get excellent feedback. One of the key things about this is it's got a very sort of personal touch to it. We personally know most of the PAs that work within our region. One of the reasons for that, of course, is that a lot of them were students at one of our universities. And as I say, we keep in contact with them with these various events that we do during the years. And so we get to know them and they get to know us. In that sense, I think they want to work within KSS because they feel that they are going to get some support. And also, as I say, we just have built up that relationship.
It sounds like a great way to encourage retention of students who train in the local area to then become part of the workforce locally as well.
Exactly. And that was really one of the objectives of the school, was to help the universities to train and work locally.
I think that point will be really of interest to transformation managers within ICSs and health education regions. If they were thinking of setting up their own school of physician associates in another area, what advice would you give to them?
So I think there's a lot of legwork to be done, a lot of groundwork, a lot of legwork, a lot of meeting people, having ambassadors for the profession. They don't need to necessarily be the nationally funded ambassadors, but people, good PAs that can talk about the profession, that can be persuasive. I think the other thing is, as I say, getting really involved with the students and making sure that they know that that you're going to be there for them when they qualify, and having someone like Dr. King on your side, someone that really understands the profession, that works directly with physician associates, knows what they can and can't do, and will be an advocate for the profession.
Is there anything that you have in the pipeline for the future that you're working on at the moment?
Yes, really exciting. We're working on a new GP preceptorship programme for our PAs.
It sounds like KSS School of PAs has been a great success already and is transforming the profession locally. If you look a bit wider to the PA profession across the UK, where do you see it going in the future?
I think we have had a lot of success, and I hope some of this can be replicated across the country. With regulation coming, with the opportunity to be able to prescribe, I think the opportunities for PAs will really, really open up. We can see that the increase in interest is really happening now, particularly in general practice. Similarly, in secondary care, because they're employed directly by the trust can invest in them, can really invest in them and develop them.
If people want to find out a bit more about the KSS School of Physician Associates, where would you point them to?
I would point them to our website, which is kssschoolofpas.org. And there is a contact us form there as well if they'd like to get in touch with me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the PA podcast today, Jo.
Thank you very much for having me, James. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Physician Associate Podcast.
If you'd like to connect with the Physician Associate Podcast, you can search for PA Podcast UK on Twitter or Facebook, and I'm on Twitter myself at James Catton. Thanks, and I'll see you again soon in the next episode.